Hi guys! So, I've talked about using a design library before, and I thought today I'd go through one of the Design Cuts packages that I haven't looked at yet. What Design Cuts does, this isn't sponsored or anything, I just use them more than anything else, is they pull together a lot of different resources into one huge package. And you can see here that the regular price for all of these items, if you were to buy them individually, is an insane amount. They discount it an insane amount, 98% in this point, to $29. Almost 100% of their packages are $29. That's USD. This is a company based in the UK, so there will be other versions, but 29 USD for all of these different things. They're international artists. They pre-vet all this stuff sold on their site, so it's all really high quality design resources. The only downside is you have to it's the whole package. You can't just get a single item discounted at 98%. So then you download everything, and then you have to maintain and manage the collection, and that's what I wind up struggling with. After you get so many assets, you kind of like remember you have something, but then you have to go find it. But Design Cuts has been an addiction of mine for a while. I always like to look at every new thing. Sometimes I'll purchase stuff from them and sometimes I won't. But let's go through here and look at this package, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So here, drawing toolkit, a font, brushes, illustration. So just taking a glance at here, this is a variety pack. They named it the Creatives Deluxe Artistic Collection. So there's a variety of different things here. One thing that stood out to me right away was this watercolor photo effect. How I personally analyze these is I think about the assets I already own, and if there are any that are included in the package that are either A, must-haves that I don't currently have, so stuff I know I will use for clients, B, stuff that I think I could use for clients, or C, stuff that I think I have already, something similar, and I don't need any more of it. But let's go through item by item. Creator for this is Lisa Glanz, Character Drawing Toolkit, People Edition. This is a Procreate brush pack. So it's basically brushes to help you draw characters. So I am not an illustrator, I am a designer. So something like this doesn't actually really appeal to me much. It's something I'd use occasionally, but I have enough brushes already that I don't use, so something like this just isn't exciting to me. The drawing aids a little bit more, but again, it's not something I do. Okay, so Lisa Glanz is an artist that I'm really familiar with. All of her work's really good, and I own quite a few of her things. Her personalized portrait creator is what this is from. I know that because I use that frequently. I've used it for several projects. Her personalized portrait creator. This is not the same product, so Design Cuts messed up here. They put in a photo that shouldn't have been. I'm also really excited about this though, because I didn't know she just updated her personalized portrait creator, so I'm gonna have to go download this new edition, which I think is awesome, that there is this new edition with the face masks. I think that's great that she did that. usually Design Cuts doesn't accidentally include information about a wrong product. Usually that's not the case. But I'm 99% certain the Character Drawing Toolkit doesn't include this face masks thing from her personalized portrait creator. So we're just going to pretend that that wasn't there. This is kind of cool. But again, it's not me. It's not something I use. I'm not an illustrator like this. That's not where my skill set or preferences are at. It's also not something that, like, I wouldn't download. I would download this just, in case I wanted to use it. Harmonas Visual is not a creator I know off the top of my head. Modern Serif, so this is a font collection. So you're just looking at the words here. Nah. This is not a font I'd get excited about or use as a go-to. This is, meh. It's not a bad font. I'm not trying to diss the font or anything. It's just, for my style and my work, it's not something I'd use. Unless I had a very specific request from a client. Tom Warning, also not a creator I'm familiar with. Invisible Inker. More brushes, so again, probably also not something that speaks to me. Yeah, no. These Photoshop brushes can be useful in photo retouching of portraits, even though it's created for illustrators. Sometimes these brushes can be useful in other ways. Say you're photographing a client and there's just a little bit of a gap of hair that looks awkward. You can take brushes like these and kind of fill it in. So they're not outside of the realm of possible use for me, but that I wouldn't use it for their intended purpose, and I certainly wouldn't use it frequently. Not an illustrator. Pretty Little Minds, okay, they're a solid company. I do know who they are. Summer Lovin' Animal Kits, so this promises to be fun. Bears, do they have, please tell me they have squirrels. It would be perfect if there were squirrels in this. Nope, no squirrels. Oh well. So this is cute. Some cute little illustrations you can then make some scenes with. Birthday cards, party invitations, announcements. It's just some really cute illustration type things. So this is definitely something that appeals to me because I could use it for a variety of design elements, design applications that would work with what I do. So what appeals to me the most is obtaining illustrations that makes my layout design work easier if I'm creating invitations or announcements or planners and stuff for other people. And I love this floral, beachy, tropical set. You could do so much, like a tropical wedding. This would be perfect for just some of these floral stuffs would be perfect for something like that. So this is definitely a mark in favor of this kit. Also, with my YouTube stuff, some of these shells could be used in videos about the Oregon beach that we go to. Could rewrite some of the words on this sign here. If we ever went back to San Diego or took a trip somewhere more tropical and did videos of it, I could see us. So this is very high on my would like to have list. I'm seeing a lot of applications for this specific package for what I do. So that's really great. And I know it's a solid artist. I'm familiar with their work. I have other works of theirs. So that's really great. Let's go on to the next package here. Julia Dreams, also a really solid artist. Unique Botanic Collection. Okay, so some florals and a bit of muted colors. Looks like it's all labeled, which is wonderful, especially if the actual files are labeled. The font is a little hard to read what everything is, but okay, some solid designs, and then she gives kind of like examples of how you could then use those florals. And some bouquets. Oh, that's nice. It's a nice little. I love when there's like little bonuses that don't necessarily go directly with, but then like could certainly go along with. Unique Botanic Collection. And so yeah, these are examples of how you could use these products. Logo, you can do so many different things with this, beyond even what I do. But yeah, so this one also has a lot of applications for me, and what I do. So that's a good one. I'm not as excited about it as the tropical one, but that's still yes in my in my opinion. Not familiar with this artist. Wonder Garden Latin and Acrylic font. Okay, that's a cute font. I like that font. Okay. That's a good scripty font. It doesn't look like it has variations, though. It is more of a standard-y than a really artistic-y. But I'm liking the shape of the letters and all that. Okay. Decent font. Roller textures. Okay. Sometimes textures can be useful for what I do. I have a ton of different textures already, so it's not something I get excited about, even if I might use them in my work. This is a little more grungy than I would standardly use, but this isn't something I'm going to get excited about because I have a ton of different textures in my library already. Twin Brush, okay, I've heard of them. Merchant Ledger. This is a font. Okay. This has applications. It's a unique font. Yeah. It's not a font I'm like super excited about, but it definitely has applications for me. Bracket and Dirty Matters. More Photoshop brushes. Marker. Okay. This isn't something that I would need or use or get excited about, these brushes. If you're an illustrator, you might. I'm not. Okay, so here you see, this is the same creator, just a second product from that creator's collection. Printed textures and tools. Okay, so replicating printing mistakes. Before, after. Also, just not something that I would use. Illustration, Storybook Studio, Photoshop, 30 texture brushes that will help you achieve the finished children's story you are looking for. Okay, so this is purely texture brushes. This is obviously a talented artist because of these illustrations, but they are not selling their individual illustrations, just the brushes used to create them. So, again, same category as all the other ones. Don't know this artist. Frames, film frames. Okay, so this is kind of trying to replicate pre-digital film photography. Nowadays, I hear film that's kind of referencing more video. If you hear the word film in modern connotation, it's usually related to audio-video recording, and it's not necessarily recording onto actual film anymore, as it's just like a term to reference audio-video recordings. But back in the day, film meant actual film where exposures were put. And that film sometimes had slight flaws in it. This is interesting, but not something I'd really use, because what stands out to me as somebody who used to develop darkroom film, it would never look like this. So it would be a negative. It wouldn't. That kind of bugs me a little bit. So this is a cool little way to pull a bunch of photos together, but that's not how it would be. They wouldn't be photos like this in film. They'd be negatives of the photo. They'd look weird to the naked eye. Yes, you did have slide film, which was in the positive, not the negative, but so that it could be projected. But most of these should be negatives, not. It just doesn't look like it's. I get where they're going with this, and then not for me. I wouldn't use it. Just because I know how it should look and it's looking the opposite. That's nice though. This one I'm not opposed to. Paper textures. Okay. I have a lot of paper textures already. So though this certainly would have its uses, I also have a lot that I could already use. Mulled wine. Ooh, that sounds good. Looks like a font? Yes, a font. Okay, cool. Not a bad font. Not a bad font. It's definitely something I could use in my work. Photoshop effects. Alright. This is also something I probably wouldn't use very often, if at all. Double light effect. Ooh, this is a nice cheat, actually. It's easy enough to do if you know what you're doing in Photoshop, though. So, this is doing something that actually doesn't take that long to do in Photoshop. I wish they'd do some befores and afters so you could really see it through pre-made color schemes. A lot of movie posters have this kind of look to it. The blue and the orange or red that oppose each other are on kind of opposite sides of the color wheel, so it makes it visually dynamic. And then we also kind of see it culturally as a struggle between good and evil. So as you can see in the examples I've put up, it's a really common thing for movie posters to do. This product specifically is just kind of an overlay. You can kind of see here how you have the original and then the 3 options. This is just something that's fairly easy to do and create in Photoshop with just a few clicks at the gradient tool. So this product just isn't something that would appeal to me because it is easy to do. Alien Valley watercolor. Now this one I'm really interested to look into. This is probably one of the ones that caught my eye the most because I do a lot of photography. So a quick and easy way to turn it into like a watercolor that looks realistic, that gets me excited. That's cool. And I love these befores and afters that show you the photo and then what the effect does. Ooh, nice. That is kind of magical. I think they're right. Magic. Okay, and then you can kind of control that. Result in different detail levels. That's good information. And really impressive. The level of detail in this. That's still. This is worth buying this pack just for this. I have a lot of applications I could use with this. Okay, so this has kind of made up my mind. There's been some items so far that I've been excited for, and some I could take or leave, and some that I'd be like, no. But this watercolor effect, I personally in my work have a lot of applications for. So it's definitely something I'm probably going to get this pack because this is in here. Let's keep going. Will Catcher. Okay, another font. Not a bad font. I have similar ones. So not something that would get me super excited, but also something I would use. W Foundry Mamba. Another font. Okay. Not my style. It's very much a themed font. So if I was doing a themed invitation or announcement, it'd be great, but I would probably rarely use this font. I would not have a lot of application uses for this. It's interesting. It's cool. I wouldn't use it for much at all in my work. Okay, so these are texture overlays. They suggest to use them for photography, but you could use them for a lot of different effects. And I have things like that. Okay. So, if the watercolor photo effect wasn't here, I probably wouldn't buy the package. Just like, honestly speaking. The fonts, some of them are okay, some of them, eh. I wouldn't buy them just for the fonts, though. The Summer Loving was fun. Probably the next most exciting thing. And then the Unique Botanicals, also cool. And Watercolor Photo Effect is really the one that I'm excited about. Now let me show you guys why it would still make more sense to buy the package with all the stuff I'm not excited about than to buy individually, because I could certainly buy individually if I wanted, but I would put money on this being way too expensive. Okay. $12. Okay, so if I just wanted to get this, $12. So it would make sense if this is the one thing I want to get it from the creator directly. It might also be on Design Cuts themselves. Let's see. I think I have this one. I have that one. It does say here, vibrant and rough. And you can see the detailing is rough. Not bad. Not bad at all. Here's a good example. Okay. So this is part of my process in what I do, is make sure I don't have something substantially similar. And this is really a cool thing. I've already purchased something substantially similar. So, very cool. Nothing against this artist. Maybe has applications for me eventually if the other one doesn't work well. But not a reason to buy this pack. Let's see here. Let's go to the next thing. That really spoke to me. And it's really easy when you get into buying these packs that you wind up with so much stuff that you sometimes forget what you have. You can get really excited about a similar product you already own. So it is really a good idea to, when you buy a new pack, make sure you don't currently have the same thing. Okay. That's on sale for $12. Not what got me excited. Is $12. Often the artists will sell on multiple platforms. You have to be really careful with that because the licensing is different on different platforms. So to purchase through Design Cuts is $12, and you get their extended license. I'm not going to explain it in this video, but extended licenses, licensing is important. So one of the reasons why I purchase from Design Cuts is the license that comes with everything you purchase from them, which can be substantially different than licenses offered on other platforms. So even though this is the same product by the same creator who's listing it in two different areas, I know off the top of my head Creative Markets licensing is substantially different and more complicated than Design Cuts. So whenever possible, I personally purchase from Design Cuts rather than through alternative means, just because of the way their license is. So I'm going to say probably my best option if I wanted this specifically would just to get it at the currently $12 sale price. I think it's discounted because of the package. And then this is the other one that I was excited about. So let's look at this one too. Okay, this creator does have their own site. Okay, so this is the same kit. So to purchase from the artist would be a substantially different licensing agreement than through Design Cuts, and Design Cuts licensing agreement is far more appealing to me than this one is. And not to mention $300 is far and above what I would be willing to spend even in general commercial licenses. For sale, only a single project up to 5,000 units for sale, $28. Even that licensure is substantially more expensive than the Design Cuts licensure is. So if I was wanting to purchase this, I would purchase this package at this point, because if this was the only thing that spoke to me and I really wanted it for a project, I would just buy this individual item on Design Cuts. But because the only other thing that really spoke to me is not available on its own in Design Cuts, and the licensure where I could get it alternatively is actually more expensive than buying the whole package. If this kit is something that I would really want to use, it would make sense to spend the $30 rather than this. And that's because it's $28 per project. The Design Cuts licensure is much more flexible than that. So yes, after going through this entire package, I won't be purchasing it. There's just not enough in here that speaks to me. If it was all items similar to the illustration tropical thing, so if it was all items like Summer Loving and the Unique Botanicals And the watercolor effect, if everything was something like that, it would probably make a lot of sense to me. But the watercolor effect, I currently own something similar, and it seems like I can obtain that from the creator at relatively reasonable price. The Unique Botanic collection, I have things that are substantially similar, and if I wanted to, I could obtain it at a actually much cheaper price. And the Summer Loving is probably the most unique thing that speaks to me in this package. But I don't have enough uses for it to justify the purchase. Like, I don't have any current projects where it would be perfect. And I do have some, like, similar cute animal, summery, floral stuff. So though it's definitely a useful pack, it's not in and of itself enough to justify the purchase for me. So in this particular pack, I won't be purchasing anything, but you can, I hope going through it, you guys can understand a little bit about how sometimes these packs are like must-buys for me. And they're an amazing deal. They're all really high-quality products. And just because something isn't right for me to purchase doesn't mean it's not right for a different designer or artist to purchase. Because if you were an illustrator yourself, I think this pack speaks. This pack is just like a catch-all. It's speaking to a lot of different creators. I think that's part of its problem. Usually the packs are a little bit more themed than this, but that's okay. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for coming along with me while I review the Design Cuts Creatives Deluxe Artistic Collection. I recorded this on July 23rd, 2020. The way the Design Cuts packages work, if this is something that you wanted to get yourself, it's only available for a limited time. So as of 7/23, it's only available for 11 more days. By the time this video is released, it's going to be fewer days than even that. So kind of keep that in mind, that if this is something that really speaks to you as a designer, you're going to have to grab it real quick. And if not, but the idea of this speaks to you, sign up for Design Cuts. Again, this isn't sponsored at all. This is just like my go-to for a lot of my resources. But sign up for their newsletters, follow them on Facebook. Every couple weeks they drop a new package. 99% of the time packages are $29. They sometimes run specials where the packages are cheaper. Usually like a Christmas one and one or two others throughout the year that will be cheaper, but not always. And then once in a very blue moon you might see a package that has so much value in it. There was one I purchased that was actually $39 instead of $29, but they had a education class in there that was really worth the extra value. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.